a number of spiritual paths. Your deeper questions might find answers in a session in the pastor's study. You're looking for something more, so let's offer you something different. Merry meet, blessed be. Some of you know me as Aiden Odinson, High Priest of the Temple of Gaia and a priest of the Universal Gnostic Fellowship. Some other folks know me as the Right Reverend, or Most Reverend, depending on how you want to call me, Cal Lippett, the presiding bishop of the Universal Episcopal Church. And we're here at St. Uriel's. And we're looking forward to Tempest Smith Day, the 20th of February. For whatever authority I have, February 20th is Tempest Smith Day. And it is a permanent part of the calendar of both the Temple of Gaia, the Universal Episcopal Church, and anything else where I've got some say, such as the Secrets in Plain Sight and Uriel's Gifts, which you're watching right now. And of course, Church Back Home is part of the Universal Episcopal Church. If you're watching this, you can find Church Back Home on the same iTunes, although it may not necessarily be filed under the same category. Just search for Church Back Home, you'll find it. You may have to dig a little. Or you can go to the Wise Ones Net, wonnet.org, wonnet.org. But let's get back to Tempest Smith. Tempest Kayne Smith died February 20th, 2001, at the age of 12, because she could no longer take the daily torment, the daily teasing, the daily taunting, the daily bullying, partly because she was shy, partly because of the black Gothic style clothes that she liked to wear, and apparently mostly because she chose to be a Wiccan. I got a few things to say about that. Number one, having studied quite a number of faiths in depth, being currently bewildered by the Kabbalah, trying to meddle my way through that, trying to build a synthesis between the Christian path and the Wiccan path, which doesn't seem to be that hard to do anymore. For me, anyway. We're talking about a bunch of people that made a big argument over something where there shouldn't have been an argument at all. And this goes down to what I've talked about so much, such as, in the words of Mr. T, that 70s character, "I pity the fool." When I'm talking about people who speak on behalf of a god or goddess, any god or goddess. I don't know the infinite. I'm trying to explore something that's infinite, and I realize that I'm only feeling around in one small part of one small corner. So who else thinks that they're so good, so wonderfully endowed with knowledge, that they can make pronouncements such as, well, John 10:16, for instance. Everybody talks about John 3:16, God so loved the world, etc. How about John 10:16? Where he said, I have sheep which are not of this fold. He didn't say how many sheep. He didn't say where those sheepfolds were. He didn't say how many sheepfolds there are. I can tell you this. Anybody who looks into any real depth in Buddhism to the point where they figured out that there's denominations within Buddhism just like there is within Wicca or Christianity, you'll find Amidala. Or as the Jodo Shinshu Japanese refer to him, Amida Buddha. And they have a saying, Namu Amida Butsu, which basically is a demonstration of their justification by faith. Justification by faith. Something that some people say Christianity has a monopoly on. Well, guess what? No, as a matter of fact, if you go back to the story of Abram, you'll discover that Abram came across that long before Jesus came along and gave it to the Christians. Well, hey, my personal theory is that somebody had to hit somebody over the head eventually after people not realizing that what they already had. Okay, but let's get back to Tempest. Religious bullying has got to be one of the most spiritually dangerous things that anybody can do. You've heard me quote before, and I'll pull it out again. Matthew 12:31, where Jesus says that blasphemy against the Holy Ghost is the only sin that will not be forgiven. Which tells me at the very least maybe you're not doomed forever because you did it once or twice, but you're sure going to have to do some atonement. Matthew 8:5-13, he has an encounter with a Mithrist, the centurion, who needs some help from him for his servant. A centurion, hey, there's one good reason why I say he probably was a Mithrist, because he made it all the way up to centurion, and to do that, you had to be pretty good, and you had to jump through all the right hoops. One of them probably would have been being a good Mithrist. John 10:16, he talks about sheep which are not of this fold. John 14:2, he talks about, in my Father's house are many mansions. Other versions say in his house are many rooms. Either way, it follows with, if it were not so, I would have told you. Okay. What does that say? I feel sorry for the people who think that only their own little group is the only one that's going to be making it, because it seems obvious to me that there's a lot more people going to make it than people think. And religious bullying has got to stop. I'm proclaiming her a martyr by whatever authority I have. And that'll mean that victims of bullying, especially religious bullying, have her for a patron. They also have Saint Uriel, of course, but Saint Uriel's patron for victims of any kind of injustice. And this place, whether it's for Mass for the Shutout, in a very different pastor study, or Church Back Home, all available by iTunes under Uriel's Gifts and Church Back Home. You can find them. Or at wannet.org. There was a reason why I named this after St. Uriel. And now, Tempest Smith can be a patron for those, especially who are victims of bullying, religious bullying, especially. And blessed be Tempest Smith, as I know you are. That we may learn from Tempest Smith. I might, blessed be. Uriel's Gifts and the Secrets in Plain Sight are sponsored by the Temple of Gaia. At Temple of Gaia, we don't train you to our path. We show you how to find and pursue your own path. Above all, we tried to provide a great place to come together and to share. We're located in Collingdale, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, and wherever cyberspace can be reached. To learn more, visit our website at templeofgaiainc.org or our meeting place in cyberspace at templeofgaia.ning.com. Thank you for coming. Feel free to return at any time. We intend to always have something for you here. Blessed be. This has been a presentation of the Wise Ones Net. Merry part and blessed be.